All right. It's Monday, November 4th. I apologize for the camera setup. If this ever becomes serious enough, maybe I'll get a camera and a microphone to actually do this for, but till then I'm going to be using my phone. So this is Monday, like I said, Monday, November 4th. At the time I'm filming this, what is it, like 10:46, and I'm still in the office. Anyways, it's the start of week 6. I just finished the first day of week 6 of my PhD, which means it's been a little over a month since I started my PhD, more than a few weeks since I posted a video, which is my bad. So this is not first month, this is like first month and a half. Just means I have extra wisdom. It's been a very busy quarter so far. I'm TAing a course. I've taken 2 classes. I think I mentioned this earlier in like my first video, but yeah, I'm TAing a course. I'm taking 2 classes, and I'm doing research. And I'll make a full video more detailing about like what my research is and what I do like on a day-to-day basis as like a first quarter PhD student. But I have 3 projects right now. And due to intellectual property reasons, I'm not going to detail it too much right now. But I have 3 ongoing projects, which is pretty normal. 2 to 3 is like pretty normal for first year. I finished a really small one like a couple weeks back, so I have finished one, but it was like a really small thing, like not a real project. Anyways, the course I'm TAing is great. It's fun. I like teaching, but it's taking up way more time than I expected. I originally thought I would just like go, teach the 2 hours 2 times a week, the lab course, and then host my office hour, and then there'd be like one and a half hour meeting a week. But I spend a lot of time grading, a lot of time answering questions, a lot of time preparing for the labs, make sure that I know how the lab is running, make sure I can answer any questions. So it's pretty sizable. I thought originally it'd just be like 5 to 6 hours a week, but it's I don't know, 15-ish or so. Pretty sizable. I feel kind of the same way about the courses I'm taking. They're taking up a lot more time than I originally expected. I don't feel that bad about that though, because I want to learn the content, obviously, so I don't feel that bad about that. It just sucks. It just sucks because I came here to do research, and it's so hard for me to find the time to do it, but it's a necessity. It has to be like this for the first 2 years when I'm taking the classes. It's just how it is, at least for the first couple quarters. It's a necessity. But I guess that leads me to the first lesson that I've learned in the last 6 weeks. It's expected that you don't know anything, and it's expected that you won't get much done your first year. I've heard this a lot from so many different people, and this frustrates me so much because, like I said, I want to do research. I want to be dedicating my full time to be just doing the research, doing what I like doing. But it's hard when you have to do a bunch of other stuff also. And like I said, it just has to be like that. There's just no way around it. It's just really frustrating. I want to be better than that average student. I want to strive to be better, but it's really hard to stay on that trend, obviously. Another thing I started hearing from many people starting last year itself, actually, even before I got here, when I was applying to grad schools, the thing that everyone was emphasizing in grad school is that the learning is way more important than grades. Learning is what is emphasized, which I feel that very strongly here in this program. I feel that very heavily is emphasized at UChicago in my department. The grades don't really matter that much. Like you have homeworks, you have like a final, but like it's switched my mindset a little bit from when the professor in undergrad would be like, oh, there's this concept that is beyond the scope of the class, you don't really have to learn it, it's fine, it's not going to be covered on the test. I'd more often than not just not bother to even think about it. But now I'm starting to like switched my mindset to be that like I have to know it, I have to understand what's going on, I have to know everything with this topic. So it's fun, I guess, like you're learning more, but it's yeah, you have to just like switch how you're thinking about it, for sure, because I want to know how to derive any concept that we've learned in the class from first principles, which is difficult to do. Another point on learning, that I think is a little bit more subtle, is that I'm always learning. Like, it's way different than undergrad when, like, I would go to classes, I would learn a lot in undergrad classes. I would learn a little bit through, applying the skills in my clubs and learn from my research, but that was pretty much it. Like, but here, like, there are so many different ways that I'm learning. Like, literally not a waking hour goes by that I don't learn something new. Just listing some examples here, the countless meetings I go to, talking with the other grad students here, talking with other faculty, seminars, colloquia, chalk talks. There's always something going on, and there's always an opportunity to learn, which I think is really exciting and really contributes to a very wonderful environment here. Which kind of leads into my next point, the next lesson that I've learned that I'm still trying to integrate more in my everyday, is I spend a lot of time obsessing over making sure everything is perfect, making like my homework set perfect, like making sure I understand a concept perfectly, making sure the students I'm teaching are understanding everything perfectly. But sometimes it's just not feasible, and it's important to quantify good enough. And that's something I'm still working on, so I'm not an expert to talk about this. But yeah, something that I need to keep in mind for sure. As I said earlier, it's totally okay to not know anything. It's okay and it's expected that you don't really know like that much about the field that you're going into at this stage in grad school, and it's really freeing to like have that, because like it's totally okay to make mistakes, and as long as you're learning from them. So I guess that'd be my next lesson, is that it's okay and expected to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. And what I have found to be one of the best ways to learn from these mistakes is utilizing the resources that are around you. And by resources, I specifically mean the people here. I can't say this for the other fields of astronomy and astrophysics, but it is probably true. Here in the Chicagoland area, there's so many amazing institutions. This department, the Cobley Institute for Cosmological Physics, which is KICP right downstairs, Enrico Fermi Institute right across the courtyard here, Fermi Lab, Argonne National Lab, and the physics department also on campus here. There are so many amazing people in these amazing institutions here that it makes this place one of the greatest places I think in the world to do cosmology. And that has the great benefit of having some of the greatest people to do cosmology literally down the hall from me. So I've been using that resource a lot, where if you have a question or you just want to talk, most of the time, if they have their door open, they are willing and are honestly excited that you come and talk. Everyone here is really rooting for the success of the grad students. The grad students here are, I feel, a very integral part of the department, and so everyone here is really rooting for your success. So if you ever have a question, someone's door is open, just go and ask, and that's something that I've been trying to do more of, is to just swallow my ego, swallow my pride, go and ask questions to these people that know, they have forgotten more in their lifetime than I can ever know. So yeah, it's a really great resource, and the environment of open communication and open learning creates a really, really just wonderful environment, in my opinion. This leads into my next lesson that I've learned, which is, oh my God, there are so many people here that are so incredibly intelligent, including everyone else that shares this office space, the other first years. Why am I here? What am I doing here? I don't belong here right now. and it's very easy to feel that way. My faculty mentor told me when I expressed this feeling, he told me that when he was in grad school, it took him a couple of years to really figure out what made him unique, what he brought to the table. And until you figure that out, it's very hard to not feel like you don't belong. But as long as you are trying to belong, then you belong. And the fact that you're here, the fact that you got in means something, you know. The fact that the department here saw something in me, it means something apparently. So I'm trying to get better about feeling this way, but you know, it's a work in progress. My last lesson on the topic of learning itself that I've learned was told to me by a very accomplished postdoc in my research group, which is you could be the grad student that stays in their own lane, does their own stuff, is on their laptop the entire time during group meeting, working on their own projects, you know, getting a lot of work done on their projects, and you'd probably be a good grad student. You'd do good work, you'd graduate, you'd be a good grad student. But what differentiates a good grad student from a great grad student is how much you focus with your peers, other people in the field, and how much you engage with the research that is all around you. This extends as far as, you know, like attending a bunch of different talks in a very broad conference, you know, like AIAAS. Or it could be something as simple as asking questions during group meeting or colloquium, something like that. So this is something that I really took to heart, and I'm trying to focus more of doing, is trying to understand what everyone else is doing so I can make myself a well-rounded researcher and just learn about everything else that's going on in the field, you know, because I say this with no, you know, exaggeration. Every single topic in astronomy I think is very, very cool. So I'm sure that I could find everything that everyone is doing extremely interesting. So I'm trying to spend more time actually learning about what people are doing. And I'm trying to practice this by asking one question during every colloquium or seminar, trying. I'm still calibrating what is a stupid question to ask. So until I figure that out, you know, I won't actually know what questions to ask that are good. But I'm still trying. Still trying to make that effort. But with some lectures, with some topics specifically, I get too lost too soon. So it's a little hard. Yeah. Switching the tone a little bit from academics and like the program itself to lessons about life in grad school that I've picked up on. The first is work-life balance. Clearly, because I am in the office at 11:15 right now, and I got here at like 9 a.m. this morning. I'm not the best person to be talking about this, but you should, I don't know, try to have work-life balance, I guess, is what most people say. The same postdoc that taught me the last lesson gave me this piece of advice when I was trying to decide where to go for grad school. They said, grad school is hard. You will struggle. You want to pick a place where when you go back home after working in the lab for X amount of hours or doing your problem set for however long you take, you want to go to a place where you're happy to be there. You know, you want to be somewhere where you're glad that you're there. And I can definitely say that is true about Chicago, which is why I chose here. So that was a good piece of advice, and I thought I'd pass that on. Our department does this unique thing that I don't know if any other place does, where at the end of the weekly colloquia, all the people with a PhD are asked to leave, so that the PhD students and occasionally the undergrad that shows up can ask more questions in a more intimate setting without fear of judgment from more, you know, educated people, I guess. During one of these post-colloquium Q&A sessions, the speaker told us, "Your plan B is better than most people's plan A. You have worked very hard to get here and are so qualified that if you ever choose to leave the program for whatever reason, you will have no trouble finding a job, so give your dream a chance." I am living my childhood dream. This is exactly what I pictured myself doing as a kid, engineering the methods to look behind the veil of the cosmos. I don't say it often enough to myself, but I am proud of how far I've come, and it's important to recognize that I am waltzing through the door I once prayed would open. This is hard. I will suffer, but I must romanticize the suffering for those that wish they could be in my shoes, for the little kid 18 years ago that brought me to where I am today. It's been a little over a month, and I feel as though I've learned so much already, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store.